Welcome, everyone, to Spiritual Living of Greater Milwaukee, where we teach universal spiritual principles. We endeavor to teach loving God without the superstition of our traditional religions. We teach the science of mind and oh so much more. You might hear quantum physics, or you might hear New Thought core ideas. They are one and the same. You might hear the Bible, and you might hear sacred texts from other faiths. We welcome you to Spiritual Living of Greater Milwaukee. If you like the ideas you hear this morning, please come back. We have a special guest today. Our friend Martha Creek is here from Tennessee this morning. Is that right? Yes, right outside of Nashville, right outside, near our friends Tim and Marcia Stewart, whom you'll hear from later this summer. So welcome, Martha.
Wonderful.
So it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, and that's Martha Creek. Martha's been a friend for at least 15 years that I can count, and I would like to keep up a tradition that we have with our guest speakers, and that is to ask Martha some questions. So Martha, last time I asked you about your spiritual practices, and this time I'd like to ask you with a sense of humor and a wink, because I know you will tell the real story. I want to ask you a three-part question, and that is, tell us about the time you became consciously homeless. How long were you homeless? And how did you come upon your current living situation?
Good morning, everybody. I love you. And I am called to be on this earth to serve those who serve. So imagine how much my tail is wagging that I get to be here with you and see these faces and remember who you are and the purpose that you have here and the purpose we have together. So I'll answer the question. Throughout my life, since I was a young adult, so I'm 23 years old, the first time I decided to right-size my life. So I went from a big 3-bedroom house on acreage and all that to go into a condo. So it was my first time to have people to back up with their trucks and load up whatever was in there and take it off. So I got to empty a house and then just move what I wanted to in a condo. So I did that every few years. And the last time I did it was 16 years ago when I had an apartment in Louisville, Kentucky, and I was there serving the Unity of Louisville at the time. And it was very specific calling, clear direction, whatever you want to call that. You've all had an internal guidance, an inner prompt to do something. And it was free this up. It's time for something different. And I had no particular place to go or nothing particular to do, but it was very clear that there's a shift required for me there. So again, I opened up my place. It was a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment, 2 blocks from the church, very convenient. So I was over there most of the time. I was very much into the church work and what I was doing. And again, I moved out what I was going to keep, which had to fit in my car. 1 carload was all I wanted to have in my possession. And then I opened up the house and let people come over there and just take what they want. And it was very much a spiritual practice to do it, to watch what I had treasured, to watch what was valuable, to watch what I had gotten from all these places in the world that I had traveled, and to watch how people were with these things. So I got to witness the whole spectrum of humanity doing this. For example, somebody would come in to these open houses I would have and spend hours just looking. What's this? What's this? Is this from Peru? Oh, is this from Japan? So they wanted the story of the items in some cases. And then after hours would say, is it okay if I take this one little thing? It's okay with me. Now remember, everything here is free. Remember everything here. You're welcome to have everything here. No, no, just this one little thing. I don't want to be greedy. I don't want to be selfish. I don't want to impose. I don't want to be too much. Okay, that's up to you. Everything here, you can have anything here. Then right behind that person was somebody going, hello, I've not met you, but my parents know you. And they said, everything's here and free. I've got 4 leaf and lawn size garbage bags. So could you just point me in the direction? And they would walk around the house and just fill up giant size 33-gallon lawn and leaf bags with whatever they could stuff in there. And then say, now, can you help me get to the car with these things so I can get my next one? So the opposite was there. So I got to see the whole of the human spectrum. And then after that Christmas, that was in April, that year at Christmas, I went to an open house of somebody that I don't know, but it's my friend's kid, a grown kid. And there was all the things that they'd gotten from my house was all out for sale in her house for her Christmas open house. And it was surreal for a minute. Like, these things are so familiar. Like, there's a reason they're familiar. They used to be in my possession. They used to be mine. It's like they were never mine. So even though they were somewhere else, I felt as close to those things as I'd ever felt to those things. And they required no responsibility on my part whatsoever. So there was many, many spiritual lessons. And in one case, in that particular case, these beautiful amethyst loop earrings were out there on the table. I was so struck by those earrings. So I picked them up to buy them and remembered they were mine. So I bought back my own earrings and I kept them in my car, visible in my car as a little reminder not to believe anything in the world is mine. So that's the last time I had anything in my name. That was 16 years ago in 2004. And I've not had anything leased or owned or anything since then, on purpose, because the more things I have, the more I feel encumbered by them. So I'm not promoting this. Please do not hear this as this. This is what was right for my life. I don't think it's necessarily right for everybody's. And I say the same thing that freed Martha Creek, that liberated Martha Creek, could put you in a psych ward. So be really discerning about just how much right sizing you want to do and what for. But I knew that it was necessary for my own soul's journey and necessary for me to get unencumbered from anything that I had. So Lisa said, in a very mindful way, my journey into conscious homelessness. And I have a lot of discussion about this and several questions. And a lady was listening to the discussions one day and they said, well, you're a gypsy, you're a nomad, you're homeless. And this woman out of the clear blue said, she is none of that. It is not true. She is home free. That's what she is, home free. And that felt truer to me. That felt like that's actually what it is, because I can have a home. I could always have one. That was always an option. It just wasn't true for me. So in March this year, when things changed and the world spun around and apple carts got turned over and the rug got pulled out and we all had a new awakening, I had very clear orders to stay put. And I've asked for this. All of my guidance, I've said to my intuition, to God, to universe, to angels, to ascended masters, any message for me, 2 words or less, please. I don't need any complicated theory. 2 words or less, please. Stay put, stay put. So I was in Florida, a condo, my friend Lisa's condo. She texted me the day I got the inner direction and said, my condo is available at the beach. You can have it, get in over there and stay as long as you need to. Stayed put 2 months. Migrated back to Kentucky and Tennessee, which is where my roots are, Bug Tussle, Kentucky. You can Google it, look it up, right on the border of Kentucky and Tennessee, where the Beverly Hillbillies came from. And I saw my family, saw some friends, celebrated some milestone life events, and then got very clear, like I've got to like get a place. So I started vetting apartments, put an application in for one, very clear inner guidance. No, no, no. And I'm telling you, I'd like to report that I just fell on my knees in rapture with the clarity of the no, but I didn't. I was as resistant as I've ever been, friends, because the guidance was house, got to be a house, got to be a house. And I was shaking my head and digging my heels in. And eventually, I waited 10 days, mindful prayers, treatments, discernment, reflection, contemplation, wrangling with God and universe. And on my way here to see this particular house I'm in. And I was really coming that day to prove to God that it's a no. And on the way over here, I was listening to a book on Audible, and the book stopped playing. Didn't touch anything, wasn't operating anything. And a song called You Can Relax Now started playing through my car radio. So how many signs would we need? How many signs do you need? How much prompting? How much messaging? How much feeling? How much impulse do you need to go with it, to relax now? So I have an address. It's been 15 days. So far, so good.
Good. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. And thank you for being with us today. We love you. I trust you know that at a deep level. And I pass the floor to you for your talk today. And would you tell us just a little bit? I want everybody to be welcome and invited to a workshop that we'll do after church today. We'll have a short break. You can leave your phones open and your computers on, take a short break, and then we'll come back. About how long is your workshop today, Martha?
I think an hour, honey, if that's fine. And that's really a good amount of time, particularly after this music and this message and the prayer, this preparation. I believe that there's a depth, the mind opens, the heart opens. So I'd say we'll get in there for an hour and really undo something. I really hope you'll come back, as Reverend Lisa said, come back, because we have read so many books. I mean, anybody want to just walk around your house and show your bookshelves? Mm-hmm. And how many workshops and how many seminars and how many trainings and how many 9-day this and 10-day that, and decades of it, right?
Yes.
Decades of it. So this is like focusing that. It's like a laser going in there. So with the notion that regardless of how much work we've done, even if 99% of our spiritual work is done, and there's only this 1 or 2% where we just get boogered up, where we cannot be our highest self, where that knucklehead crosses our path, or we start ruminating about what we're going to say to them the next time we could, or what we should have said to them. It's like, so that part of our humanness, that part of our deep emotional undoings that's unhealed, not reconciled yet, that's the part we're after in the workshop. So even if it's just a sliver, if you've got this one this week in study with Paul Selig, he invited us to imagine now you're spiritually mastering and you're on a beautiful mountain. And all the beauty, oh, the majesty, and you're going up the mountain and you see a cave. And you know you have to go in the cave. And guess who's in the cave? the person you never want to see again as long as you live. The person you're like, oh, no, not them. Anybody but them. Can anybody relate? There may be 1 or 2 or 10 or 100 of people we've put into the darkness, that we put through our own woundings, through our own hurts, through our own emotional reactivity, through our own traumas, that we've put them into the dark because we didn't know what else to do, to cope with it in some cases, to navigate the winds of that intensity. And it's like, then the work is about getting back in there and walking literally. And that was the invitation, to go in the cave and to walk them out, to walk out with them to the light, to the beauty, to the oneness, back to infinity, back to integration, the opposite of disintegration. Now, here's a kicker for this. And I was so immature in this when I first heard these ideas 30 some years ago now, that I'm like, oh my God, I got to be a best friend with them. I got to have them over. They're my teacher. I got to sit at their feet. It's like, no, you don't have to have them over. You don't have to have a meal with them. You don't have to even speak to them, to walk them out of the darkness. So to do something psychically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, to say, I'm simply going to restore you. I'm simply going to move you back into wholeness, back into integration, out of that disintegrated state. So that's a part of what it is. And as I was preparing today and thinking about one notion to bring in, and the notion was portable solitude and portable practices, because it's wonderful on Sunday when we look at these faces and people we love and adore, and our tail gets wagging like, oh, these are my peeps. Oh, this is my community. And it's like, it's really easy to do that here. And it's and it's so important to come to these gatherings on Sunday, and it's to come and to come and fill the cup, drink it up. Ya Allah, Allah. Fill your cup, drink it up. Ya Allah, Allah. And then I got some knuckleheads that's likely going to cross my path this week. There'll be somebody that won't invite me, won't include me, that'll judge me, criticize me, have an opinion about me. It's like, then what to do in those situations? And this week, I was listening to my friend that's very much into promoting this efforts that's going into her city. And she wanted to go to the city council because she felt like that there was not equality from the city council, and how some of their protest activities had been going, and some people being called to make sure they had permits, and others were not required to have permits, and others were being arrested right across the street from other people not being arrested. And she said she can't go into the council because people will smirk. She can't bear the smirk on their face. So until we can bear the smirk on their face, till you can bear the smirk on their face, we're powerless. So it's essential that we grow ourselves up emotionally, spiritually, and mature in that. And I don't believe, and I have no direct experience of being able to be spiritually mature without being emotionally mature. So think about John Lewis and somebody like that, to prepare for that walk, to prepare for that crossing of that bridge, that went and let people call them names, and they practiced presence and pouring food and drink and water on them and name calling them, to prepare in presence, to remember what for. What for am I doing this? What's my why? So They can smirk all the way to their grave. And that's not what I'm there for. So that look on their face belongs to them. And that tone of voice belongs to them. And if I can keep self-differentiation where they begin and end and where I begin and end, I'm going to be more empowered. And to the degree that I can stay in power, I'm going to have access to the mind. From what Terry read today, I have access to the law, to the truth, to what is actual, what is possible, to an infinite potential. And to the degree that I'm not able to do that, then I regress to the part of the mind that knows nothing but compete, flight, fight, shut down, cut off, go silent. And we're just a thought away from either route. So it's no little thing to take this deep presence and these practices that we do on our lotus cushions and on our altars and on Sunday morning at 10:30 to say, okay, now this is my day and this is my week to grow myself out, to grow myself up, and to keep a clear distinction between facts and feelings, and to take this portable peace, portable presence, and portable power into every situation, into every attitude, into every opinion, into every smirk, into every situation this week. Every time traffic doesn't flow to suit me. Every time, every situation. So I know you can. I know you will. I bow to you for that. And even if you do it 99% of the time, the 1%, whatever's left, 1%, 10%, that's the call for today. That's the call for this week. That's the call for evolution, conscious evolution. And I do my part. You do your part. And then together we can do what cannot be done alone. Together we quantumly affect. So Godspeed. And if there's ever a way that I can serve you, get directly in touch with me. And there's free videos, free resources, free newsletter, all at marthacreek.com. And you're welcome to have it, live it, teach from it, preach from it, send it out, do anything to get these empowered teachings to the whole of the planet, which is my vision. And co-inspire with me in your own ways. Until we meet again. Namaste.
Thank you, Martha. Thank you. We had a question for you from Cindy Wellman. And Cindy asked, I'll read you what she said in the chat. I hope Martha talks more about portable solitude. That really caught my attention.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Cindy. So come to the workshop, honey. We'll take a break and just come. So we'll get into it a little bit more there. But it means to have presence literally in what I'm doing. So chopping vegetables, that I am in atonement. I am in alignment with source. So in the car, before I answer the phone, before I fire off that email. So how to take the presence, the solitude of self, God is source, with me into more situations, how to make it portable, not just on the lotus cushion, not just on Sundays, but how to make this peace, solitude, this atonement, and this alignment, at-one-ment atonement, and alignment, how to make it portable, how to bring it into more broadening situations.
Thank you, Martha.
MarthaCreek.com if I can support you. Blessings.